Since 1982, Scotchman Industries has sold thousands of hand-operated circular cold saws. As our customers became more familiar with this method of sawing and its advantages, our requests for automation became more frequent. This video will show you in detail one of our solutions to these many requests with the introduction of the CPO 315 HFA 12.5-inch blade automatic hitch feeder cold saw. This machine will saw up to 3.5-inch tuber pipe and up to 2-inch solid material. Because it has a grip and move or hitch feeder system, multiple pieces of smaller diameter material can be bundled for hourly piece counts in the hundreds. The basic machine is sold completely assembled, ready to be hooked up to 220, 440, or 550 volt power and 90 to 100 psi air pressure. The saw we are showing in this video includes an optional 10-foot in-feed supply roller track that is also available in 20-foot lengths to accommodate standard mill-length materials. To demonstrate exactly how this machine operates, we have elected to explain the control console and then proceed by setting up a job from the beginning. This will give you the opportunity to see how user-friendly the machine is prior to it going through the actual sawing and feeding functions. There are 11 controls on the console and 2 controls not on the console, and their functions are as follows. Emergency shutoff. Power up. Starts the machine in manual mode. Piece counter. Programmable to count up or down. Head up. Used to abort a cut. Head down. Used to make a manual cut and set the stroke adjustment. Position 1, 2, 3. This setting determines the number of hitches up to a maximum of 30 inches each hitch. Variable speed controller. This standard feature is probably the most important feature you can put on a cold saw. This feature, when combined with a 2-speed motor, gives you infinitely variable speed on an LT machine from 11 RPM to 88 RPM. The speed variables on an HT machine are 22 RPM to 176 RPM. The variables on an RHT machine are from 45 RPM to 360 RPM. With the variable speed feature, you are able to marry the feeds and speeds to the job for faster cutting times and longer blade life. Cycle. This control will make the saw cycle whether in manual or auto. Auto or manual. After the operator is satisfied with all of the setups that are in place, cycle in the manual position. This will trim cut, feed the material, make the measured cut, and stop so you can measure the part. If you need to make a fine adjustment, this adjusting wheel will move at the rate of 1.5 thousandths per increment. Push cycle for one more part check, and then switch over to automatic and push cycle. Coolant pump. Select if you want flood coolant or not. High and low speed adjustment. This control is located on the electrical box on top of the motor. All saws have 2-speed motors. When you use the combination of the 2-speed motors and the variable speed drive, the blade speed ranges are as previously mentioned. Flow control valve. This valve controls the speed of the head into the material. This valve is also very instrumental in setting the stroke controls on the head movement. Now we will set up a job. Set a bar of material on the supply track on the saw. Before we place the material into the gripping jaws, the operator will adjust the length stop for the length of the part to be sawed. Assuming the finished part is to be 6 inches, he will set the length using the system as shown. The operator has the additional ability of fine-tuning the feed as close as 1.5 thousandths with this secondary fine-tuning adjustment. Now that the length is set, the operator will adjust the hitch material vise for the proper width of this material. The gripping jaws for the hitch feed are adjusted very quickly by turning the hand wheel until the vise jaws come in contact with the material. Then back the hand wheel off, allowing 7mm or 3/16 inch throw movement for the automatic clamp. To adjust the clamping jaws, rotate this hand wheel in the proper direction, allowing the same 7mm or 3/16 inch for throw movement of the automatic clamp. Now that the feeding and clamping adjustments are set, the operator will adjust the stroke of the head assembly. The blade should not be running for this adjustment. Using the 17mm wrench, loosen the bolt on the lower stroke. Using the saw head down button, bring the saw head down so that it clears the bottom of the tube by 1/8 of an inch, and turn the flow control valve off and disconnect the air. Again, the blade should not be running for this adjustment. This will hold the head in a fixed position while you bring the bottom stroke control up to the metering boss. Secure the stroke control in that position. Bring the top stroke control down to the metering boss and secure it. Turn on the air and you will immediately have upward pressure on the head. Release the tightness on the top stroke control slightly, allowing the head to start moving up slowly. When the blade is approximately 1/8 of an inch above the material, secure the top stroke control again. The stroke is now set for this application. This first demonstration is a piece of 1-inch solid to be cut into 6-inch lengths. To index and saw this application takes 15 seconds. These cuts will all be plus or minus 2,000 squareness per diameter inch of material and plus or minus 4 thousandths in length per hitch on the feed. The safety guard is remaining open for this demonstration process only. Place the bar in the hitch feed vise jaws. Push the trim and test button and the cycle button. Adjust the flow control valve to regulate the speed of the cut. The machine will make a trim cut and then a 6-inch measured cut and stop. Measure the part and make the fine adjustment if necessary, then push the button again. If the measurement is within your specs this time, set the machine in the automatic mode, push the cycle button, and you are making parts. For our second demonstration, we have elected to use some optional form jaws designed to hold 14 pieces of 5/16 inch material to be cut into 3-inch lengths. This application will produce 133 pieces per minute, 8,000 pieces per hour, and over 60,000 pieces per 8-hour shift. It is worth mentioning again that these large swings from solids to bundle cutting are made possible by using the variable speed feature. The two previous demonstrations were made on ferrous material. This same style machine can be purchased with a non-ferrous head capable of sawing aluminum at speeds of 1500 or 3000 RPM with carbide-tipped blades. With the exception of the sawing head, all of the systems are the same on both ferrous and non-ferrous saws. A couple more things worth mentioning. This machine can cut pieces as short as 1/8 of an inch. We stated that our tolerances are 2 thousandths per diameter inch in squareness and plus or minus 4 thousandths in length per index. These tolerances are based on standard off-the-shelf blades that the manufacturer claims will have a maximum runout of 9 thousandths. We are able to maintain closer tolerances with standard off-the-shelf blades because we have special blade guides built into the machine as standard equipment. In summary, the Scotchman design department has spent many hours making this machine as user-friendly as possible. Even the troubleshooting aspect of the design, with this state-of-the-art electrical panel located directly under the control panel, makes it possible for one man to troubleshoot the system. All of the parts are made in the USA, eliminating the long wait for part arrivals from offshore. If you need to talk to a saw technician, you can use our toll-free 800 number. Scotchman Industries originally started in the cold saw business by importing this type of saw, so we know the hassles of keeping offshore equipment running over the long haul. Let us save you the grief. Let us be your full-service cold saw supplier. For additional information, call your local dealer or call Scotchman Industries direct at 1-800-843-8844. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to demonstrate our equipment.